What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1035 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm going to do my best not to cough all day today. We've been seeing your comments. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. We are coughing and wheezing. We have back problems. We're getting old. But, you know, we try to save our best for the stream. And that's what we're going to do today. We have a couple of $20 super chats to start with. From Shane H. Wilder, happy Friday, Brett and Mary. Not to be a downer, but tomorrow is the funeral for my coworker who passed away from a heart attack. Prayers for him and his wife and children would be appreciated. Please, thank you, and God bless. Of course.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
Sorry.
Katie next said, hey, Brett and Mary, Trump is angry at my country for not helping in Iran. Does he know about the DEI woman hire for the army of my country the far-left prime minister has appointed? I haven't heard a single thing about that. What is Australia one of the major players here? They're kind of on the opposite side of the world, but interesting. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for that. And Shane, that is very sad to hear, as always. Sorry for your loss and prayers to his family. That's always like, it's not a great way to start a Friday, but it is important to send prayers out.
We're gonna stay in good spirits.
We are. Guys, hit the like button on the video as always. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Share the episode and the segments out with your friends and your family and your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share our show with, the faster the channel can grow. It also helps engagement if you go and argue with people in the comment section about it. In fact, what you should do is find a video in which I'm coughing, and you should go in and be my ardent defenders. You should come to my aid in the comments section by telling them, deal with it, because there's nothing we can do about it. I gotta steer the ship, and to steer the ship, you're gonna have to deal with somebody who has a cough every now and again. And yesterday didn't help, because I decided to yell on stream, and then like when I was going to bed last night, it was like, oh crap. So I did this to myself in a lot of ways, but I'm still gonna ask that you guys defend me. Also, it does look, if you're listening to this right now, hopefully that means that you did get to hear the last episode. We were having audio issues with the upload on, on Spotify and all of the audio platforms. I came back in today. I re-uploaded. It immediately went out in the re-upload to all of the other platforms like Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts, but it took Spotify a bit longer to upload. As I checked right before we went live, it does look like yesterday's episode is up on there. So you should hopefully be able to listen to both yesterday's episode. If you are listening to today's episode, maybe you missed yesterday's, go back and listen to that one as well. So hopefully that is all figured out. So what are we getting into today? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Ariana Grande. She has infected the Meet the FOCKERs. Well, it's not a reboot. It's a revival.
The FOCKER cinematic universe.
Yes,
Brett.
she's
that's what we're dealing with now. First of all, the fact that there is a FOCKER cinematic universe, and the fact that Ariana Grande is a part of it, both equally traumatizing information to learn yesterday.
And Mary seems to have a thesis about why her appearance in these movies just doesn't work.
I think you'll agree with me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's harsh, but true.
So stay tuned for that. Also, Clavicular has kind of had the comeback after the fallout of his overdose. He went on, oddly enough, went on stream and said that he doesn't think he's going to be able to stream while using substances. But I'm assuming he means like out in public. He means like
IRL streaming.
IRL streaming, right? Yeah. So he did that, and then there was some fallout with his dad who flew into town to help him, and it's a whole kerfuffle. So we'll get into that. We are also going to talk about AI fruit soap opera SLOP.
I am so excited for this one, and Brett is not, but that's okay. I bet that some of you have seen this content before because it's taking over For You pages all over. These are micro dramas starring anthropomorphic AI-generated fruit involving cheating, scandals, murder, illegitimate children. It's wild, the twists and turns. So we're gonna get into that and why it's so popular, I guess.
I wonder if there's telenovela versions in Spanish.
It is literally a telenovela starring like anthropomorphic bananas and mangoes. Like that is what we're talking about.
Okay.
I kid you not.
We've got that. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff. I do want to give you guys another heads up for those of you who are who don't necessarily get a chance to watch every day. I do have a brand new special episode of PCC that I recorded on Tuesday with the Verbal Riot with Valiant Renegade that went up for members of the channel. You can go and watch that if you are a PCC channel member on YouTube, and if you want to watch the full video and you are not a channel member, I would say first that you should go and become a channel member so that you can watch it. Otherwise, it will be available tomorrow. I gave everybody early access to it at the beginning of the week, but if you want to watch it, it will be up tomorrow at 7 p.m. So with all of that being said, we are ready to go. Mary, are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So none of you are surprised that me, Mary, is offended by Euphoria Season 3. What might come as a surprise, though, is that one of the top earners on OF, Sophie Rain, was deeply offended by the portrayal of OnlyFans in the show by Sydney Sweeney. Her character, Cassie, in this season, joins OF in a desperate attempt to afford a luxurious, lavish wedding with $50,000 floral arrangements against the will of her husband, Nate, or rather fiance, Nate. And she ends up dressing up as a dog where she is led around on a leash. She also dresses up as an adult baby in the show. That's all we know so far. And Sophie Rain saw the trailer just like everyone else and decided to go off on Sydney Sweeney for besmirching the honor of OnlyFans hoes everywhere and making them look bad. She's giving OnlyFans a bad rap by her portrayal of the lifestyle in the show. And this was her interview with TMZ, or the highlights at least we'll watch.
Here we go.
Pretty cool that they're bringing OnlyFans into like the entertainment space, but I think the way they're doing it is like over dramatized.
Well, yeah, am I to assume that they're not actually calling it OF and that because that's like a trademark?
No,
thing?
they are. I saw the scene where Sydney Sweeney's character announces to her fiance, "I'm gonna join OnlyFans."
That's
so
even
they are
funnier.
Like, mentioning it by name.
That's even funnier because most TV shows, like when you watch like a television show and it's got social media, it always has some generic fake looking.
Right,
It's like Friend Connect or something like that.
In Nickelodeon shows, they have Apple products, but they're called like pear phones. Like all of it is a pear instead of an apple.
Okay, let's continue here.
I've seen her like dressed up as a dog, like being pulled around on a leash, and like I just think that's crazy. I never do that. They're definitely just, making it dramatic for entertainment, but it's not reality. I don't know any massive OnlyFans creators that are, putting on a dog outfit.
Is that to say that like she's like it's besmirching us because only low rent OF creators do that? Because I highly doubt that it's just made up out of nowhere.
No.
So
we'll get to that in a minute.
Especially her dressed up as an infant. That was really disturbing to see, for me at least. That should almost be illegal. I love her character in the show. I
love that she's the moral compass on the infant part. She's like, look, that's just taking it too far.
She plays it very well. I just think the stuff she's doing on the show is a little crazy. It's definitely dramatized for shock value. It doesn't align up with my character and my, the content that I put out. But to each their own. I just don't agree with it. We shouldn't be, portraying OnlyFans that way because a lot of young girls watch Euphoria, obviously. And I just think it's very misleading.
Okay.
I do agree with Sophie Rain that the adult baby part should probably be illegal. Yes. But to poke a hole in her argument here, I need only remind you of her call out against fellow top OnlyFans earner Bonnie Blue for besmirching the honor of OF hoes everywhere just months before. She literally did like everything that Sydney Sweeney's character does on the show in real life and worse, like much worse. And that's real life. That's just the reality that everyone is observing. So what exactly is so inaccurate about the idea that women on OnlyFans are degrading themselves and doing insane stunts for attention.
Well, I mean, is it supposed to be
such a fantastical idea?
Is it supposed to be the idea that she thinks because she might be the exception that doesn't make the rule true? Because the rule is still obviously true.
Also, I've never subscribed to Sophie Rain's OnlyFans, so I can't claim to know what is on there. What does she show or not show? What does she do and not do? She still to this day claims that she is a virgin, meaning that, you know, she has never had sex, not that she is very chaste or modest. But then there are opposing claims that she has actually posted videos having sex before on her OF. So that's a stunt, if true. She's lying about being a virgin because she knows that there are fetishists who will specifically subscribe to her content because of their, you know, belief that she is a virgin. And that she is constantly talking about being a practicing, believing Christian when, you know, any serious Christian would not engage in digital prostitution. That is just a total lie. So that's another attention grabbing stunt that she is engaging in herself. This is all just like, I believe, a stunt in and of itself, her calling out a celebrity and hoping for a response.
Well, you said earlier,
I have to hand it to Sophie Rain. Yeah, she understands the game in that you can't just be an OF hoe. You, in order to make it and earn longevity as a public figure, have to be a media personality as well, so that there is a fully clothed version of you that people are also going to watch and you know, give money. See, she understands that she needs to diversify her portfolio as a public figure rather than just staying on the OF platform. She wants to go do interviews with TMZ and, you know, Sky News. I believe she already did a media hit there. She has done interviews with plenty of mainstream outlets like GQ. She's trying to become as famous as possible for the sake of becoming famous. So how is she on a moral high ground in comparison to this fictional character? And I have seen some, you know, dubious right-wing Twitter takes that Euphoria is secretly a conservative show because all the degeneracy in the show is portrayed in an unglamorous light, and that Sam Levinson is showing all of this depravity and upping the ante with every season in all of its debauchery in order to show the realistic side of it and the downside.
That doesn't make
lifestyle.
it. That doesn't actually conform. That's just somebody who's rigidly probably thinks about politics all day long and doesn't realize that not everybody kind of operates under that paradigm. Like, he can write a show about a bunch of debaucherous behavior that ends up in a bad way. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with left or right politics. It's merely just his avenue of storytelling. It's just that's a politically brained person who doesn't know how to put it anywhere else but that box.
That's a bold assumption in and of itself, that young people, including teenagers, are going to watch this show, see all of the spirals that the characters end up in as a result of their own behavior, and then think logically to themselves, oh, it looks like drugs didn't go so well for Rue. I'm never going to try, you know, drugs now because I learned this moral lesson from Euphoria. That's ridiculous to even assume that teenagers have the reasoning capacity to go through that process of logic in their heads. And similarly in the show, when Cassie joins OnlyFans, it's not portrayed in a positive light or aspirational way. And it shows very clearly that this is destroying her relationship with her fiance, then husband, and that he's deeply unhappy with her decision to sell her body online. But that's not going to stop any teenager who's watching Euphoria from starting an OnlyFans themselves. It's merely introducing the idea to them. So it's just ironic that Sophie Rain made that comment at the end there, saying, like, she's really, like, glamorizing OnlyFans. Like, it's not doing that, but it also doesn't matter how it's portraying it. As long as they're getting the graphic sexuality in the show, nothing else matters to them.
Yeah, the same thing happened with, what was the one with The Weeknd? What was the show at the weekend?
Oh, The Idol.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing, right? You can show it in a negative light. It depends on, but then that kind of more or less depends on your ability to say with your full chest to the world what you think the director's intentions were, which I'm always dubious of anyways. And even if Sam Levinson came out tomorrow and said, actually, the point of this was to show you the destructive path in which this puts you on, that doesn't make him some type of right-wing person at all.
No.
It just makes him, I guess, you know, interested in a certain part of the human experience that people on the right also inhabit, just in a different way, meaning their desire to call it out as a bad thing. He just is more interested in the process.
Right. Like, you can't really assume that Euphoria is full of, like, right-wing dog whistles because drugs and sex work are portrayed in a dark, gritty light in the show, because teenagers are still gonna watch Euphoria or that horrible movie like 13, I believe it was called, or like Virgin Suicides, or any number of those sort of movies or shows, and imitate what they see. It's sort of like the argument for not telling your kids about the mistakes that you made when you were their age. Yeah. Like, I don't know how I feel about that, because personally, you know, my parents like told me about mistakes that they made, and it never made me think like, oh, well, they turned out fine, so I'm going to do the same thing. But that is probably how most kids and like teenagers especially think. But the same argument goes for the type of media that you consume. It doesn't really matter the context of how something is portrayed, as long as you see it. The media you consume is going to desensitize you to what you're seeing and possibly lead you into thinking that you should imitate what you see.
Purely from the perspective of the artist there, like, as much as a lot of artists are political animals, there are still plenty of them that are more enamored with just certain aspects of humanity and certain aspects of the human experience, so they tell those stories. Now, Sam Levinson has his very specific niche, which happens to fall perfectly into the streaming era paradigm, which is that they love this type of stuff and love to mandate having these types of scenes in the showing of this type of degeneracy. But that doesn't mean that he's even approaching it with the same type of he's not approaching it with the perspective that this is either good or bad. He's showing you this is simply what is, and you can make up your mind one way or the other of what it is, because they're not usually going to be looking at these types of issues that way. Like, they might take that approach with like policy if they're to like ham-fistedly include politicians into their stuff, but when it comes to the human experience, it's really more of a question about how much are you, the viewer, willing to go and sort of pick it apart and make up your own mind about it, which is something that happens all the time. That's why the discussion happens about media literacy. Media literacy. You didn't understand. Didn't you know that this guy was making fun of you? Didn't you know that this director was making fun of you? Not realizing that Sam Levinson actually wins here by not explicitly saying what the purpose of it was. Forces you to write your think pieces and have your discourse about what all of it means, which frankly I'm just exhausted by, if I'm being honest.
Well, going back to Sophie Rain's media strategy, she's doing more, evidently, to normalize OF to young girls than Sydney Sweeney is. Not that Sydney Sweeney is completely innocent in this story, because she is doing the work of like blurring those lines between being a prostitute and being a celebrity or social media influencer. All of these lines are blurring. And another story that comes to mind is this recent one about Shannon Elizabeth from American Pie, who just started an OnlyFans and is portraying this as some huge like empowerment stance where she's taking back control of her career from Hollywood. And she said, I've spent my entire career working in Hollywood, where other people controlled the narrative and outcome of my career. The next chapter is about changing that, showing off a more sexy side no one has seen, and being closer to my fans. So that's her way of, on the other side of the aisle, blurring those lines between being an actress, a performer, an artist, and being a prostitute.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's nothing new. People in theater and Hollywood have been engaged in sex work or different shades of that for a very long time, but only now has it gotten so in your face. I also wanted to mention that there's a controversy about censorship going on with Euphoria season 3. They have been forced to change some of their promotional material in France because the original poster for the show has a billboard visible that says Jesus saves. And in the center of the poster, you can also see Sydney Sweeney's character in a bikini. That has been removed at this point. Sydney Sweeney is now in the French version of the poster, fully clothed in her wedding attire. And the Jesus Saves billboard has been completely removed and replaced with a more metaphorical burning bush symbol, which represents
I didn't even catch that. Yeah.
That represents Rue turning to religion in the course of her recovery from addiction. So it just had to be like way more in your face for the American audience, I guess, because we're bad at picking up on hints.
Maybe the real world end of this would be they end up with right-wing Twitter influencers.
Yikes. I mean, that would actually be a pretty interesting storyline.
Never mind. I'm rewriting it right now. The show ends with all of them having Elon Musk's kids and retiring.
Honestly, that would be pretty funny.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Sabrina Carpenter is once again back in the news.
Yeah, so following the cultural insensitivity scandal that Sabrina Carpenter suffered after Coachella, you might think that's why her fans are suddenly turning against her and don't have sympathy for her anymore. But this actually was predated last week by the release of her music video for her song House Tour. I think that there were already some takes from fans of hers that they were sick of her shit well before the Coachella scandal arose. And it's mainly because she simply cannot come up with new material. This House Tour video is no exception to the rule. No music video from Sabrina Carpenter can simply not include a scene of murdering men. And in this one, she is shown in one scene driving in a car with Margaret Qualley, and they're dancing to music in the car. She's smoking a cigar as well. And then they just gleefully run over a man in the middle of the road and kind of giggle about it afterwards. One of her fans said she's really living up to the tradition that men will never be safe in a Sabrina Carpenter music video. And one fan responded to this saying, "Is it just me? Or the whole killing men in every video thing is getting kind of corny, especially considering that her whole personality is being a male-centered white bimbo." So these are feminists who are saying this. They're not necessarily saying we want to defend men or we're suddenly becoming men's rights activists.
Well, no, this is the true art critique. They're saying it's just boring.
It's boring.
They don't even disagree with it. It's just boring.
Yeah, it's boring and the messaging is outdated. This is very like 2019 feminism, which isn't objectively that long ago, but in internet years, it's been a very long time since it was trendy to be like a eyebrows on fleek, long acrylic nails, face beat to the gods, hating men type of feminist. Like, that's not trendy anymore. And another response to her music video said, "I'm going to sound deeply heterosexual when I say this, but I am so sick of seeing naked women," because one of the prominently featured scenes is women like literally taking their clothes off and showing their panties dropping to the floor. And this is from another avowed feminist whose bio says working class communist and sex trade abolitionist. This is from another one of those Gen Z feminists who have taken this turn strongly against sexual liberation and the type of feminism that Sabrina Carpenter is sort of a poster child for.
Yeah.
In another part of the video, she is shown, I guess, holding men on leashes like they're dressed up as dogs. And then another fan of hers said, "It's getting boring. which is what I've been saying for a very long time. And I'm glad they're finally coming around to the same conclusion. And a fan of hers tried to jump in and defend this behavior, recollecting this video that Sabrina Carpenter posted a while back in her wardrobe closet, or at least the set that shows a wardrobe. She's going through her clothes here. And the first one says, "For the girls." And the second one is just a hanger that says, "For the guy." And the third one says, "For the gays." And she picks the one at the end that says, "For the gays." And so this caption claims, "It's so sad that even when Sabrina is practically drawing it out to explain that she doesn't sexualize herself for men, there are still people who can't comprehend this." But they failed to recognize the key part of that video, which implies when it comes to the guy, when it comes to the male gaze, she wears nothing. The whole point of the video is that she is naked and at the beck and call of whatever guy she's dating at the moment.
Okay, actually, that might be a great type of like intro to art philosophy about like, what do you see here? Like,
yeah, speaking of like media illiteracy, how do you watch this video and not understand?
I mean, no, I disagree. I think that the whole point here is like whatever you're predisposed to believing is what you're going to see there. So I don't actually believe that that's accurate. I think that if you're a person who believes that they believe, you know, deep down with all their heart that she doesn't do it for anything other than the girls and the gays, they're like, see, she's not like, there's no outfit designated for the guys because the guys don't matter. Or if you're somebody who believes that she is deeply repressed and she's hiding the fact that really it's just all for the men, you'll see it as there's nothing there because she doesn't need to wear anything. And it really is just, as I always say, sort of a Rorschach test in a weird way.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that her fans are desperate to go with the narrative that she doesn't sexualize herself for men.
Not to hate,
that is something that they, you know, revile.
Not to hate, but the conservatives could use a little bit of this level of like artistic philosophy in their art, where it's not, where it's literally so, where it's so off that you just don't know. Like,
right.
You're like, okay, well, I don't know what it means when he makes that, when he jokes about, you know, like gender and stuff like that, or when he makes a pronoun joke, what is he actually saying by that? No, you need a little bit of nuance to your art.
This is something I was discussing with Libby on her podcasts recently. The way that Gen Z women think about feminism and sex. And people tend to stereotype it all as the same thing, that they see like sexual liberation as empowering and hookups are empowering and women should be proud and out and loud about how much they enjoy sex. But people fail to realize that Gen Z women openly, you know, hate their own sexuality and openly talk about how much they don't enjoy sex and that they begrudgingly have sex with men in order to manipulate them. Like, this is basically the current state of modern feminism.
That feels very terminally online, though. Like that feels like
sure.
Yeah, like the most terminally online aspect of it. But again, Sabrina Carpenter, at least in this side of her personality, meaning the music video side, and I guess the video side of it kind of leans into that. Whereas if you were just listening to her music, there's plenty of people that can just listen to her music and take no side on the gender war about it because it seems indistinguishable from just, I guess, what would be considered the decent pop music of the time.
But that is also a little bit insidious because, you know, especially in the Man-Child song, you have like thousands of women listening to and singing along to this lyric, calling men stupid and useless. And there's no way to be exposed to that media without, in some way or another, imbibing its message.
It's like Pumped Up Kicks. It's like you can listen to Pumped Up Kicks and sing along without actually realizing exactly the horrific nature of what that song is actually about.
Okay, but Pumped Up Kicks is an objectively better song and better written song than any of Sabrina's songs.
That depends on your musical taste. That's a subjective question.
Okay, but that's a song that's written in a way where you legitimately can overlook its meaning, but in man-child, it's literally just talking shit about a man the whole time and calling him stupid and useless. Like, there's no other way to interpret it.
I do love that Stomp Clap
deep.
has given way to this amazing Gen Z internet trend where they make fun of them. Where I watch these videos now where it's like POV, you've been robbed by a millennial, and he goes up to him as a song from the Lumineers is playing. He's going.
Yeah.
As he like robs you, and then
clapping.
he stomps and he claps up to you and says, "We do things a little different around here."
And then he serves you truffle fries in his dungeon.
With newspaper in the the metallic cylinder that he puts it in.
Oh, it was
I mean, the thing is I went to those restaurants when I lived in Uptown, so I have I have a soft spot in my heart for the $35 for the $35 cheeseburger.
I will never say that Thistle and Thorn doesn't have a good burger, but I did want to mention that some fans of Sabrina tried to spin the Coachella scandal to make her look good by writing fan fiction about what really happened. This one is a tweet that you really could have plucked right out of like 2018 or 2019. It's the photo of Sabrina on stage, furrowing her brow at the person screeching their cultural cry in the audience, and they instead wrote a different story about it, captioning it "Me whenever a man speaks."
I mean, this is a meme template that's open to a lot of interpretation. I've seen some really bad ones that don't really make any sense, but it's pretty.
But still, it's like
I feel like I've been transported.
Not what happened.
I feel like I've been transported back to Tumblr in 2017.
And someone responded to this and said, "You people are just incels with vaginas for real." And I was like, yeah.
Well, okay,
yeah,
so
they need to hear that. It's harsh, but it's true.
Like if you go and then look at the responses on tweets like this, they're very clearly trying to get a rise out of you. Where like somebody will be like, "This is why this is why nobody's getting married and the dating crisis is going on." They're like, "Good." Like, it's just like it's a troll. It's a troll.
Yes.
It's a woman troll.
It easily lends itself to divisive gender war discourse.
Or the other option here is what you always say. You could argue. You're probably arguing with a 14-year-old online.
And the most ironic part of the whole Coachella scandal is that all of the people who normally are not on Sabrina's side are the ones defending her, and her fans are the ones who instantly turned against her. It just proves the point once again that women are less sympathetic to people on their own side than men are to people on the opposite side of them politically. Like,
we talked about this, I think, on Monday, and Olivia was like, "Look, like, it's not her, like, she couldn't have known what was going on, what was, she's defending her," and a lot of other people were too. A lot of people on the right were defending her because people on the right take that as more of a matter of principle. And I was just like, you live by the woke, you die by the woke. I don't know what you want me. I don't know what you want me to do. But I understand. I fully understand the logic behind defending her because it was ridiculous and stupid.
Right. But I'll just never, like you said, I'll never forget that moment during I think it was the Grammys earlier this year when they panned to Sabrina Carpenter reacting to, I think, like Chappell Roan's speech. And she starts like talking about ice or something, and Sabrina is dutifully clapping and nodding in the audience. I'm never going to erase that from my neurons. But this photo of her like giving this person the stink eye, it's literally my face when somebody is like on a plane playing music from their phone without headphones on.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows how she felt in that moment. That's real. That's the real her.
I had a friend, like, back before I'm talking back in like 2018, before I knew that loud music in public was a political issue. Because I worked at a gas station, so people would just come in and play music on their phone or on like a speaker. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I remember mentioning this to a friend, and the friend literally gave me the example about how, like, they don't have power in society, so it's like an FU to, like, take control of their environment. And I'm like, I gotta go.
How does that make them look any better, though? Like, even with that, even if you, like, took that explanation at face value, it still makes them look like horrible people.
I mean, I also heard somebody tell me that being able to take a 3-day weekend from your job was white supremacy, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
let's start with the cute today.
All right. Let's go to this one here. This one's from Jarfy. Love the name. Whatever that means. Says, fun fact, Piper was one of the first PCC pets. Now an old lady and still a big baby.
Aww.
That is a very cute puppy. Well, it's not a puppy anymore, but it is
that's a conquer.
Like that is me when I finally fall asleep for sure. Good dog.
Very cute.
All right, let's do the cringe of the day. Here we go. If you're listening to this right now, it's a woman at she's got a distinctly 2010s like hobo chic look going on, and she's in front of her refrigerator, and it says, "The audition that booked me a national commercial." Here we go. Oh, let me turn the audio on here.
It fixes everything. Cool Whip. Bad day? Cool Whip. Get fired from your job? Cool Whip. Boyfriend breaks up with you for your best friend who's hotter and smarter and cooler?
This is the spiritual successor to that girl who made the song about moving to Florida for her boyfriend.
Yes. Yes.
Cool Whip. Oh, please. Don't judge me. Don't act like you've never sat on the floor in front of your friend at 2 a.m. I think that's pretty cool.
She's kind of got like Dakota Johnson understudy vibes going. Like she could play a Dakota Johnson double if she's like doesn't want to do the scene.
Yeah, I bet.
Cool Whip fixes everything.
The screenshots are.
You know what?
Just remember, this is what like 99% of people who claim to be actors are doing in their free time.
Yeah. That's that was something. My goodness. I don't ever. That's me at 2 a.m, except for it's eating olives rather than Cool Whip.
Wait, I don't really understand what Cool Whip is. Like, is it whipped cream or like what?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it?
I don't eat. It's not whipped cream. I don't even know what it technically qualifies. It is, but it is. I don't eat Cool Whip, but you put it on pie and stuff. It's kind. I guess it's whipped cream.
It's
brand name whipped cream. Guys, is Cool Whip just brand name whipped cream? It just didn't withstand the world where like Xerox became the term for something.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we got a 20 here from Shane H. Wilder. Says, Foster the People originally did commercial jingles. Mark Foster wrote Pumped Up Kicks with the upbeat music as a quote, "F-U song to the hipsters in a way, but it's a song the hipsters are going to want to dance to." So it was like it was supposed to be that. That's layers of irony, which makes him the actual hipster in the situation.
Right.
With that level of irony. Well, good for him. All right, let's move on. We've got more to get into today.
Yeah, so we are in remake/reboot hell, and Ariana Grande sits on the throne over us all. I just learned that there is a new iteration of Meet the Parents. They're making another sequel called FOCKER in Law, and Ariana Grande has one of the major roles in the movie. They just put out the new teaser and the new trailer, and all of her fans are really excited about it. Precisely no one else is. And I'll tell you the number one reason why this can't work. And there are plenty of them, but the primary reason is Ariana Grande's appearance. She does not look human enough to play a normal person in a mainstream rom-com movie. Look at this woman. I'm sorry, she just cannot play a character other than, a supernatural witch fairy that comes down in a bubble. So it's not going to work.
I need you to kind of give more details to what you mean by that. Is the idea here that her physical appearance is too specific, meaning that she has created her own physical reality that doesn't come from God?
She is so altered in her appearance that it is insanely distracting, and
without it
she
being
will never be able to pull off a character who is a normal person in society. One of these replies to the trailer really put it perfectly. People who very obviously look like wealthy, pampered celebrities are trying to depict regular people, and Ariana looks like that to such a degree that it makes it especially difficult. It's impossible to suspend disbelief when watching this movie that Ariana Grande is anyone other than Ariana Grande.
We've had this discussion before. We've had this discussion before, normally in the context of period pieces, that the modern actor's face is too specific and created by man to appear natural in a period piece.
And I know it's not just plastic surgery, but she's altered her appearance in many other ways too. She has an unnatural hair color. She bleaches her eyebrows. Her eyebrows are also in like totally different zip codes. It's actually insane that nobody who cares about her has sat her down for an eyebrow intervention at this point. She's constantly making these bizarre, cartoonish facial expressions that no normal human being makes, even in a movie. And she doesn't read as human in a way that someone pointed out she would find flattering if someone pointed it out, because she doesn't care about looking human anymore. But if you're going to play a normal person in a movie, you should be, sure, more attractive than the general population, but still look believably like, you know, of our species.
We've got
instead of an alien / malnourished Victorian child.
We've got a couple of 20s. Pat the Plumber says, Cool Whip's mostly vegetable oil. It's gross. Don't eat it. I don't.
Okay, I won't go for it then.
And Pop Culture Junkie says, Cool Whip is not whipped cream. It's a chemical stew. Water, hydrogenated vegetable oil, coconut and palm kernel oils, high fructose corn syrup, skim milk, and light cream. Not much light cream.
See, Ariana Grande is the Cool Whip of humans. She is a manufactured, chemically processed human. And it's sad, but it's true. And, you know, I feel like they saw the backlash coming from a mile away and felt the need to already defend her from what they knew would be said in reaction to this trailer.
I don't know what the point of this movie, like how old is she supposed to be in the movie? Because if they were going to do this, they could have just cast Millie Bobby Brown. How old is she supposed to be? Is she supposed to play like a 30-year-old?
I mean, I guess she's in her 30s, so I'm assuming she's also playing a character in her 30s, and she's the daughter-in-law to be. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
So they tasked Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller with defending Ariana Grande on the grounds of her talent, because they knew that people were going to be unhappy with this casting choice. De Niro said, she's probably the single most talented screen partner I've been lucky to share the screen with, which is an incredible exaggeration.
I'm sorry. So this is like WWE. WWE constantly says like the biggest match of all time. Every match is the biggest match of all time. The most consequential thing to ever happen. That's what this is. The guy who sat opposite Al Pacino for the diner scene in Heat is like, that's not where the line is. That's not the upper echelon. The upper echelon is Chanel number 2 from Scream Queens. I think she was Chanel number 2. I don't remember which one she was. The point being, Ariana Grande is the upper echelon of film, not Al Pacino.
Sure, buddy. And then Ben Stiller said, in a way, Ariana is kind of like the new Ben Stiller.
What?
And, you know, I looked at the comments on the trailer. A lot of people said that they thought this was an SNL skit at first. And in an ideal world, that would be true. But unfortunately, this is coming to theaters near you. And I have several other projects that came to mind when I thought of remake / reboot hell that we're in right now. One of them is the upcoming live action Moana that Disney is putting out with The Rock. And this poster, like cardboard display that they put up to promote the movie, is so it's like so ridiculous that you almost start dissociating and like going into a hypnotic trance when looking at it. Someone replied to it saying, the pig's vacant stare, the chicken screaming, the rock staring into the sun, Moana default posing. It's a work of art.
There's no cohesion to anything. Nobody's reacting to anybody else in the same picture. Like at the very least, you could say that if these three look like they were all interacting with the same thing, that she was kind of calm, cool posing as like a joke next to them as all the craziness happens next to her. But these three look like they're all reacting to something different. The Rock looks like he just, like, his check cleared and he just got it's payday. Yeah. The chicken looks like it's being murdered, and the pig looks like it's coming down off drugs.
Also, like, I know that he has a belly button, but I am not detecting a belly button on this man.
You can see it. You can see it.
You can see it, but only through many layers.
It actually looks like the all-seeing eye from the Illuminati symbol.
It's so bad. And remember, I don't know if anyone else remembers this from Thor: Love and Thunder. It was just like the overplayed nature of the screaming goats. That entire movie, the screaming goats were the comic relief of that movie.
Yeah.
The screaming chicken is going to be this for Moana. I'm sure it's going to make $1 billion though, because we are all slaves to the SLOP. Here's another SLOP movie that's coming out. This has a stacked cast. Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher, Casey Affleck, and Pete Davidson are going to star in the Bitcoin movie, now heading to the Cannes Film Festival market. So this is going to be the most cursed project ever. I mean, I don't know. The competition is fierce, but this is pretty bad.
So it says that Bitcoin is the true story of one man's quest to prove that he is in fact the creator of Bitcoin, a claim that puts his life in peril and sets off a global firestorm and is in a wild, high-stakes race between the who's who of tech billionaires and world leaders, with the fate of the world's entire financial system hanging in the balance. All leading to the question, why do the world's most powerful people want to erase one man, and why would they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to do it?
Here's another one you should know about. I think we did discuss this when it was announced. Angel Studios is apparently distributing the official Hershey's biopic, which is coming out in November with Alex Daddario. And this reply said, I wonder why cinemas are dying. Then I see another preview for Brands the movie, and maybe they deserve to die.
Look, it's not like it's coming out of a major studio. It's coming out from Angel Studios. It's different. They
didn't create it, to be fair. They're just distributing it. Still, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Actually, I'm kind of more impressed that it's going to theaters at all, as opposed to, because if this was bought by any other place, it would have been bought by a streaming service to put on there.
Look,
Walmart should buy it for the Walmart streaming service.
The Michael Jackson biopic is going to do well.
Oh yeah, it's good. I think that one could make $1 billion.
This is not going to do well. This is going to be a historic flop. And we already know that. We're this far ahead of the release, and we already know it's going to be instantly forgotten. I personally am possibly part of the problem, because I just bought my tickets to see the Devil Wears Prada sequel, and they brought back all the original cast for this, but every photo that's been taken from the set, every still that we've seen from the final movie so far is just awful. And you can even tell in just this one still, you know, in the beginning of the original movie from 2006, you see Anne Hathaway's character brushing her teeth. This is the new version of that. It looks like a Crest commercial. It actually looks worse than most commercials that you see for, like, toothpaste. What are we doing? This looks horrible. Everything looks like an ad now. Yep. And it was the same way in the FOCKER in-law trailer. Everything just looks like just dusty, blurry mush. Just looks like they just puked all over it. There's no life, there's no light, there's no blood in anyone's face. It's just, everyone is just a dead corpse.
Yeah.
And it's just gray. And no one can figure out why. I mean, we know why. Obviously, the reason on the surface level is because they're not color grading shit. But why aren't they color grading shit? I guess it's just because they know that people will settle for less now. That's what's going on.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me because it's still they still have to grade it. You're still paying a color like a color grader to actually do the work. There's still a colorist there doing it. They're just doing it.
Why? Like they're doing it wrong, like on purpose?
It's so funny too because I mentioned the show Granite Flats, which takes place in the 60s. Actually looks a lot like the stuff you see now, but that was the point. It's trying to show you something from a different time period, so therefore a brownish color tone makes perfect sense.
That ought to be a stylistic choice, not just the default of how everything looks now.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't put enough thought into it in the first place.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. It's what makes me weary of every time. Like, I don't just dislike the idea of them bringing back shows that I loved because of I think the story is going to suffer, even though I do think that that's what it is. It's like I can't imagine them doing White Collar again, and then I have to like squint to see what's going on at FBI headquarters, even though it was always brightly white and lit. Like, I don't want to think of what it's going to look like if it's gross the second time around.
Bad.
It's horrible.
It's all bad.
And the other thing is,
there's
like,
no escape.
It could be worse. You could see, like, I think that's toothpaste on the toothbrush. It would be worse if there was like a Sonicare logo like right there.
It's a product placement for like a water pick.
Well, no, so I saw that when I don't remember what I was watching, if it was Citadel or something, but it was like I guess they did all of the product placement in post. So it was like they were it was like sponsored by DoorDash or Grubhub or something. So you'd see like the Grubhub bag on the countertop, and it was very clearly done after the fact. That's the real depressing stuff right there. We got 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. We'll move on. Pop Culture Junkie says Michael Jackson biopic has had $15 million worth of reshoots in the last 3 months. Those are Marvel reshoot numbers. Hope they got their money's worth. That's true.
I believe that the Michael Jackson biopic is going to do gangbusters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Michael Jackson.
I might
still
even
a
see it
cultural
myself. Actually, now they're talking about making another Michael Jackson biopic sequel.
I mean,
like, what are we doing?
It makes sense. I guess not as a sequel, but it makes sense. Like, I'm surprised that you weren't getting multiple in 1 year like we did with Elvis. And getting several different opinions on it. Though I guess if it only goes up to one part of his career, then...
But we don't want to see the other parts of his career because those parts are sad.
I want to see a whole movie based around him bullying the people on We Are the World.
That would be awesome.
Like, if just him being, like, giving everybody, like, like the meme from The Boys when he's giving the disgusted face. Michael Jackson just doing that to everybody when making We Are the World.
I just don't really want to see the part of Michael Jackson's career where he's like pale and like just in this like sad place in his life and career, and I don't want to see that part. I just want to see like the happy stuff.
It all leads up to him holding the baby over the balcony.
Oh gosh, that would be horrible if they included that.
All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into.
Yeah. Top looks maxing streamer Clavicular is still navigating the fallout after his overdose on stream that took place on Tuesday. And there is a new sad twist in the story involving his father, who allegedly flew out to Florida to stage an intervention and was ghosted by his own son, who refuses to take a turn and get better and stop using substances. So thankfully, Clavicular has at least realized he cannot IRL stream anymore. That was the main reason, according to him, that he was using GHB or whatever it was that he ingested that caused his overdose. So here's the clip of him desktop streaming. I think that is what he means. He's going to continue streaming, but only in his house rather than going out to nightclubs and in public streaming.
All right,
so here was his response to the situation.
Back at 6 a.m. yesterday, so I'm good. Don't worry about me, boys. What happened? Nothing. I'm not gonna.
I'm sorry, this is gonna seem like my own sort of weird quirk, but like all I can think about is all the headroom that's in the shot, because the point is to have the size of his apartment or his condo there not actually look like having it on him. That's what my brain goes to when I watch stuff like this, is thinking about, there was definitely a point where they framed the shot with him at the top of the frame, and they're like, yeah, but then you can't see my stairwell. So okay, sorry, I'm done. Maybe I need to go take GHB before going out to nightclubs. Hold on, let's continue.
I'm not gonna really get into it too much. Don't really want to talk about it, not gonna lie. Don't really want to talk about that. But I ain't gonna be doing any of that anymore. Rebooted? Yeah, I rebooted, so. I rebooted. I saw on Twitter people were going nuts. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna be doing any more substances for a little while. Hopefully for forever. But that means I can't really IRL stream anymore. So that's the thing. I really can't IRL stream. Because as you guys know, I'm quite brutal without that. So that's, I think I have to figure something else out. I have to figure out a new method. Either practice mogging sober or just find a new form of content. I don't know. It's done for. It's done for.
My thing that I noticed in that clip is the fact that he's never in silence. He never has a moment of silence or reflection in his life because he has all of these dudes swarming around his actual apartment, playing video games and blasting music all day. I mean, people like get rid of roommates for less, but this is the environment that he's living in on a day-to-day basis, and I think like that would drive any normal person insane. It's quite telling that he, instead of outwardly saying he's quitting substances, he says he's quitting IRL streaming. And the reason for that is that he realized he cannot IRL stream without somehow augmenting his sensory experience with drugs. And he can't cope with his neurodivergent traits without doing drugs. And that's really the core of the problem. He also didn't recover properly after the overdose because he left the hospital early in order to go to an already booked promotional event for his new nightclub. And that nightclub is called Baccara in Miami. The premise behind Baccara is that it is an exclusive invite-only club in Miami, known as the first streaming nightclub, a premier nightlife destination for influencers. And if you go to the website clavslist.com, there you will find the application portal where they claim Clav himself personally reviews every application, and you have to fit certain requirements of follower counts and I'm sure mogging in order to make it in. He
What if somebody's
also is
like-
asking for like thousands of dollars to book a table at this club. So he showed up to this red carpet promo event for the club literally like the next day. And sadly, according to this post, Clavicular's dad did not show up to the event despite being invited. That's not the whole story, though. According to TMZ, they said Clavicular's post-overdose saga has taken another turn. TMZ has learned the streamer's own father flew across the country to stage an intervention and got completely iced out. Sources familiar with the situation tell us that Clavicular had his dad, Ken, rush in from New Jersey after this week's scary hospitalization for a suspected overdose. The plan was for a serious face-to-face talk to push him towards getting help, but that didn't happen. Clav refused to even see him, saying that he was busy and still planning to hit his club appearance, the same event that he had hyped before landing in the hospital just a day earlier. where he was spotted partying with Blueface. Despite Clav telling viewers on a live stream, I wanted my dad to come because he was here, but he didn't come. Our sources say that is not the full story. His dad was never supposed to hit the club. He was there strictly out of concern after the OD scare. Instead, the situation got so frustrating that Clav's father left Miami without ever getting the chance to say what he came to say, flying back to New Jersey, deeply worried about his son's health. Now, behind the scenes, it's clear this isn't just a viral moment. It's a family crisis unfolding in real time with a worried dad left on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that reminded me of another clip from... I saw another clip from Clavicular's stream maybe a couple of months ago. I think he was at a basketball game with his ex-girlfriend in the audience, and he was streaming, of course, because he's always streaming. And he gets a text message from his dad and reads it out loud on the stream, which also shows, you know, he just has no respect for his own family's privacy. But he says that this text message from his dad calls him a drug addict, that his dad outwardly says, you know, you're a drug addict, this is sad. And he's visibly upset about this message that he just received. And his girlfriend, reacting to this in real time, while probably drunk or high herself, or both, is like, oh my gosh, like, don't say that. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Like, they just have zero capacity to think of anyone but themselves. Zero empathy. He's around people who are literal vampires.
Yeah.
Clout goblins. They're clout vampires. They just suck the energy out of any room for whatever clout and attention and money that they can get while they're in his orbit. He's just surrounded by these orbiters who enable him. And honestly, if his dad did show up to this club promotion event, that would have been an enabling behavior on his part. So it's probably for the best that he didn't show up.
He wouldn't, when you're in crisis and you either don't know it or you're not willing to make a change for it, but you still want to have a relationship with your family, you will oftentimes simply avoid them because, one, you don't want to see that you're disappointing them. Two, it always leads to a fight because either A, you haven't admitted yet to yourself that you need help, or if you do and you're not willing to do it, then they're going to have issues with you for that. And that doesn't, I mean, that makes the dad right in this case and not wrong. The dad is absolutely on the right side of things here. And look, to tie it back to my own experience, when I always knew, even at my worst, that I needed help. I, however, simply didn't engage if it was going to lead to a fight at that point, just because I didn't have the mental capacity for it and I didn't want to hear it because I already knew it myself.
Tonal issues.
Tonal issues. I feel bad for his dad. I do.
I don't mean to like valorize his dad or his parents in general, because based on the information we have about his upbringing, they definitely made a series of evidently, you know, irreversible mistakes in the way that they raised him. And, you know, he said that he bought drugs online illegally for the first time when he was like 13 or 14 years old. They found out what he was doing on social media and only revoked the internet from him one time temporarily and eventually gave it back. He should have been given an intervention like, you know, the better part of a decade ago, and maybe none of this would have happened. So, I mean, at least they're seeing in retrospect that they made some serious missteps, but I'm just saying that to not, you know, portray them in an overly positive light.
Well, then,
I think that his parents are flawed people like everyone else and no one's perfect, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that, like, your kid shouldn't have unbridled, unsupervised internet access at such an age. That's when he was exposed to all of these ideas.
So what do you think all of this means? Because I think I mentioned the other day on the episode, the last time we talked about him, I was surprised, and albeit that I'm not somebody who watches Clavicular IRL live streams, or follows closely into whatever the deep worldly philosophy of looks maxing is. But I was surprised how many people looked at a kid who's very clearly in crisis, very clearly struggling, very clearly unable to do whole aspects of his own job without using drugs, and then hearing people talk about how he is important to the culture. Now, that is not to say, because I do understand that broken people can still make be important parts of, you know, what makes society what it is. But what is it in this case that makes him so important to the culture?
Well, they're making him into some kind of hero.
Okay.
And they're like lionizing Clavicular as a role model for young men. And
Explain that.
I mean, I don't think that just saying he's important is that, like, you know, I think that he represents certain trends among his generation, but that's not to say that he's some kind of like hero or
So
role
the
model.
idea is that he represents an important idea rather than a positive one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's like evidence of what happens to someone who is essentially like fed to the wolves of social media at a young age. Like, that's what he represents. But more so, the looks maxing ideology. I mean, I saw an interview recently with another like looks maxer, I forget his name, who also admitted that he does like super powerful steroids to remain muscular, and he, you know, was reminded of the side effects. It could cause serious heart problems, whatever, and he was like, I don't know, if I get heart attack and die at 25, like, then I die of a heart attack. So what? They do not care about the risks. So reminding them of the risks is futile. But Clavicular similarly understands perfectly well that he's putting his life on the line and doesn't care about health or longevity or even enjoying his life at all. He only cares about looks maxing. And people find this so confusing that they write it off and address it with a tone of mockery, which I think is I think it's wrong.
I'm trying to avoid that here because for the most part, our job here is to kind of look at this stuff and analyze it. So I'm not trying to dismiss it offhand. My initial instinct is to say that you should not take advice from somebody who valorizes drug use and hits himself in the face. But that's also like the more comedic approach to it. Obviously, he fills a void somewhere in society, but I just don't know how much I buy is that he's actually important, and how much of it is just that people are terminally online and can find a high word count way of making anything sound important.
Right. He generates a lot of fruitless discourse.
Yeah.
But I think what he represents is the nihilism and apathy of his generation, and that can't be discounted. More so than anything, what I think looks maxing represents is the result of men being disempowered in society. So, I mean, essentially, men's looks for most of human history had nothing to do with their ability to obtain and keep power. And men used to yield the majority of power in society. And I don't mean to say that as if women were always like, you know, slave driven and dehumanized. I mean that just men had most of the power, and that wasn't a good or a bad thing. It was probably a good thing. And men just don't have most of the power anymore. And the roles have been reversed. And now that that change has taken place, with women being more powerful in society and not needing men anymore, they have their own money.
Is that what makes them? Okay, so that was my point, was like looks matter more now, because back then all the dude needed was money to be attractive to women, but now women can make their own money. It's like thanks Stalin, we opened the workforce, and now everybody's effed, right? So
well, it was almost like people didn't think about pairing up in terms of attraction anyway. In pre-modern times.
So when you talk about women being holding the majority of power in society, you're talking the longhouse.
Perhaps, or even just reaching closer to parity with men in the power that they wield. And the fact that women don't need men to survive anymore, at least as it appears, they statistically, when surveyed, rate attractiveness, physical attractiveness, as a much higher priority in a potential long-term partner or spouse than they used to. It used to be the opposite, that throughout the 20th century, men, when asked for their priorities in a female spouse, rated looks very highly on the scale, and they haven't stopped caring. Men haven't stopped caring about looks, but they care about looks just about as much as women do, if not less. And it's because women don't need men for any practical purpose anymore. Not that they're looking for a boy toy. It's just like when you don't need a man, you, in order to, you know, be okay with settling down with one, need to want a man. And they rate physical attractiveness and quote unquote emotional maturity as their highest priorities now. Women, I mean.
So clavicular is some type of societal response to that.
Yeah, he recognizes that men have been disempowered, and seemingly, in his worldview, the only way to obtain any power is to increase your body capital.
Okay.
By altering your appearance and, as he put it, like ascending physically in your appearance. And, you know, this reminded me of a recent trailer that came out for a movie called Ladies First. It's that starring Sacha Baron Cohen and Rosamund Pike, that's coming out in May. And the log line says, a ladies' man finds his best life turned into his worst nightmare when he wakes up in a parallel world dominated by women. And this is supposed to be some comedic take on The Handmaid's Tale with the genders reversed, even though it's not that far off from the reality in which we live. And I also recently saw a clip from Amy Schumer's Call Her Daddy interview where she talked about why she thinks men get frustrated whenever women openly talk about sex. And she claims it's because men are afraid of women and the fact that women's rights are growing. She said,
that's not true. I've been reliably,
here we are, men are terrified of women.
I have been reliably told that Donald Trump has taken away women's rights, so I don't know what she's talking about.
Right. Yeah. I thought that we were literally living in The Handmaid's Tale once again, so I'm a little confused about what she's talking about here.
Oddly enough, about all of it, and maybe it's more abstract in thinking, but when I see that, when it comes to dudes, it makes sense when you have gripes with society, when you have gripes with the way things work, but it's very weird when you focus only on your own specific disenfranchisement in your own specific problems. It feels somehow it's unmasculine to whine about your own problems. It's, you know, it's perfectly normal for men, especially in the political space, to whine about society, to whine about the ways in which we need to fix things, all the things that need to change. But that's very different from being like, my life is so difficult. Because the whole point of being a dude is you're supposed to shoulder your responsibilities however society may be behaving. Like it's unmasculine to focus on your own problems and externalize them like that. You focus on your own problems and you fix them, but you don't focus on your own problems and talk about them, I guess.
Well, Clavicular espouses similar sentiments, to be fair. His idea of the solution, though, is just
hitting yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Not to straw man the argument, but
yeah, he doesn't really complain about society all that much. He says that we should just accept things for the way they are and adapt as we need to, which means mogging.
That's okay. So there's a line there between nihilism and pragmatism that's at least kind of interesting, I suppose, for the most part. I think that the messenger also matters, and it's very hard for people who aren't terminally online to be like, even like, are they supposed to be like, you're not giving them a fair shake if they show you a video, if you show a normal video, like a normal person, a video of him hitting himself in the face, and then be like, would you take advice from this guy?
I agree.
Like I'm
with
actually trying to be like fair here, because obviously somebody with his size and platform means that he reaches a lot of people. So who am I to say that, you know, he's wrong? But I guess I would say that the messenger matters.
I agree with
Nobody
you.
would let, like, I
He
already
hasn't
tell
earned any credibility.
I already tell people that, you like, when we talk about these things, we speak in the abstract, and I'm not trying to tell people what to do or how to live, but I definitely wouldn't have expected you to take any type of advice from me back when I was in the midst of, like, severe drug addiction, like, and unable to do, like, if I was unable to do this job without using substances, which is how it would have been back when I was at my worst. Like, there's no way I would have been able to do work every day without using. Like, I would never have deemed myself credible in helping change the world, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Let's talk about... Oh, actually, no. Let's talk about AI fruit soap operas. You heard it here
Yes.
first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. On a lighter note, we're going to talk about a new trend that has taken over millions of For You pages. Asks the New York Times, what's with all the AI videos of cheating fruit? So I don't know if you guys have also seen this content. Unfortunately, I have. I don't know what that says about me. But there are thousands of videos showing anthropomorphic fruit characters in soap opera plot lines involving torrid affairs, cheating scandals, illegitimate babies being born, domestic abuse, you name it, they have made this in AI, and it's usually coming from India. So they claim the juiciest show these days isn't The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or The Bachelorette. It's a class of raunchy, nonsensical, AI-generated TikTok telenovelas starring anthropomorphic fruits and vegetables, having affairs, breaking hearts, and giving birth to produce babies. In this genre, juicy is meant quite literally. The heroines and villains are apples, mangoes, and strawberries. The videos are the latest type of slop to take over social media feeds, where some users have described seeing an increasing amount of AI-generated content pertaining to groceries in recent weeks. At first, some said they were uninterested in the videos, which are often shoddily made. For example, the outfit a character is wearing will change from frame to frame within the same scene, but many soon gave in to the bizarre yet addicting videos. According to Know Your Meme, one of the earliest cheating fruit videos was posted at the end of February and featured a strawberry cheating on her partner with an eggplant, resulting in a baby. In the final scenes of the clip, the strawberry's husband, also a strawberry, believe it or not, clutches the purple newborn, sobbing and yelling that the infant looks like his wife's boss. So they're really tapping into people's most primal instincts with these videos and their most base emotional reactions and sexual anxieties, including ones that are racial in nature, I'll add.
Wait, so isn't it, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be, I was like, I know this is gonna make it weird, but do the strawberries equal a race? Did the...
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, yes.
Didn't I read somewhere recently that, like, paternity tests aren't allowed at birth in France because of all the cheating going on or something like that?
I mean, that sounds very French, yeah. The tropes feel akin to any number of reality television shows or soap operas, or I'll add pornography. But as with many AI slop videos, these clips have become increasingly nonsensical. Words are mispronounced and plot logic is almost non-existent. In one variation on the theme, a female fruit character is kicked out of her home after farting in front of her partner. Don't try to make sense of that one. You will fail. So, to follow up on Strawberry Man's story, this is maybe part 15 of this specific soap opera storyline, and millions of people are keeping up with it.
Can you imagine? So we did a video yesterday about fantastic actor Kirk Acevedo, been working for decades, losing his home because the middle class of Hollywood has been decimated, and he's over here watching the Strawberry family deal with a cheating scandal and a baby eggplant born out of wedlock. Absolutely demoralizing.
Yeah, but maybe we're gonna watch
Corner
this and
store.
we're gonna get hooked. Let's see.
Here we go.
We are out of milk. I will be back in 10 minutes.
Okay, please hurry back, honey. He's been crying for you all morning.
She thinks I'm stupid. Purple skin, a green tem, it's humiliating. I am a red strawberry. I deserve a pure life. I deserve better than this vegetable circus.
Aye, Poppy, you look so tense. You need someone to squeeze the stress out of you.
I was just getting milk, but suddenly I'm thirsty for something else. Forget the grocery list. Let me take you somewhere we can really peel back the layers.
Smooth talker, I hope you can handle all this, my dear. I've never met a fruit like you.
I'm forgetting everything.
There's an eggplant baby at home, you bastard.
My old
The
life is
eggplant
gone.
baby is the bastard.
I pronounce you husband and wife. That's the best time of my life. Woo!
It's been 2 days. He wouldn't just leave us, would he? Maybe there was an accident. You're finally back. I was so worried. Who is she? So this is the baggage you told me about? How tacky.
Pack your bags. I have a new wife now.
Get out! Mrs. Orange needs this room for pure fruit children.
You can't do
Let's also not miss the fact that she dropped the baby.
Yeah, that was crazy.
this. It's pouring rain. He's just a baby. Don't cry, little one. We don't need him. We'll survive somehow.
Okay. That was deeply disturbing.
Yeah, and there are other videos that portray food mothers with their food children in dire life or death scenarios. One of them shows a mother spaghetti strand with her adorable pasta daughters as a disembodied fist grips them over a boiling pot of water. And her children, her spaghetti children, say to her, "Mommy, the air is burning. I'm scared I'm gonna fall. Don't let go. I don't want to break. It's so hot."
It feels...
And they all cry out in unison as they're submerged in the boiling water, a mournful violin track playing in the background. Yup. This is what people are watching. Tens of millions of people are keeping up with this like it's their new favorite television show.
Okay, so is this botted? Like, could this be, like, fake?
That's the claim, right? But it turns out, according to, you know, people who have looked further into this trend, it actually is apparently being generated with a software called AIcenturies.com.
Okay.
It advertises itself as a company founded by two brothers with the mission to equip the next generation of AI creators and teaches them how to make AI slop, featuring custom prompts for other such popular genres as animal podcast clips, viral Roblox rant shorts, and Minecraft block slicing ASMR videos. A tutorial that the company posted on Instagram about how to make talking object videos is its most popular with 2 million views. This underlines the strangest part of this phenomenon. Not only are tons of people watching cartoon, fruit, and vegetable drama, but tons of people are making it, eking profits out of the dissemination of this specific AI slop and upping the ante with wilder plot lines to further their reach. So you would like to think that, you know, yeah, the videos are AI generated, but at least it's bots posting it. No, these are human beings behind the creation of these AI videos.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Have you ever seen those absolutely disturbing like videos and it's been turned into like an Instagram meta now where they make fun of it, where it's like how I brought my husband back to our marriage after cheating on him, and it's like they post these, it's just the most humiliating thing you could ever think of, in this schmuck who gets put in these videos, and you're just like, why would you allow this to happen to yourself? Is this some type of like revenge fantasy? As like the opposite version of that, where the woman gets hers, as opposed to like the disgusting videos where the dude just subjects himself to the humiliation of being put into his like cheating wife's Instagram content?
No, a lot of these videos carry that same theme of like male revenge.
She's getting her, like, this is what she deserves, and since it doesn't happen in the real world, I have to create it with vegetables. Yeah,
AI anthropomorphic cat videos also have similar themes that involve sometimes like some pretty graphic violence, and unfortunately, a lot of these videos are reaching audiences with children as well. but this was something that was pointed out. With female AI fruit being shamed and even sexually assaulted, there is a misogynistic undercurrent to the fruit slop microdramas, even as they appear to be cultivating genuine fans. When they asked a bunch of people what they find so appealing about this content, they usually said that it's some form of escapism for them when they don't want to consume news or deal with the stresses of their everyday lives, their jobs. And I find that a strange explanation because this is content that's intended to inflame your anxieties. It's intended to actually not be a relaxing recreational escape at all. Mm-hmm. It's very dark, violent, and graphic at times, and has, you know, themes that, as you can tell, really resonate with people and their real life relationship related anxieties. So I don't find that to be a sufficient explanation for why these videos are so popular, that it's just an escape form. And you know what else? People go to the news for escapism too, because they don't want to think about their own problems. They'd rather think about problems that exist on a global scale or half the world away from them. That's a form of escapism too. So, you know, they're finding an escape from an escape, and we're just like going through layers and layers and layers of dissociation.
It's not an escape, it's just a distraction.
It's really, like, I want to say it's not that damn phone, actually. Like, it is that damn phone, but most of the time it's like people avoiding accountability for how they use that phone. And you should recognize that you at least have some level of control over your own algorithm and the time that you spend on your phone. Let's not think about it in terms of screen time. Let's think about it in terms of quality screen time over quantity. Mm-hmm. You need to make your phone work for you instead of surrendering to whatever like algorithmic rabbit hole takes you to AI fruit soap operas. Take some accountability for like the person using that damn phone, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it's not the phone's fault that you're sad and anxious all the time. Like, you're the one using it.
Well,
Make
yeah,
it
you have to
your tool.
You have to be able to learn to put it down.
Like, my phone, I laugh at stuff that I see on my algorithm. Like, I have good I find that I've been able to control what I see to some extent. Not all the time, but I see stuff that makes me laugh. I see things that are informative. I see things that are beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I never like put down my phone and get all sad and whimpery about like what I'm seeing on my Instagram feed.
Depends on the day. Not Instagram. Instagram's a whole different thing in general. Mine's mostly skating and I guess like weird AI emo music content lately. That's what it seems to be for me.
You have a pretty good algorithm.
But on X, it really depends. I've gotten so like in the weeds with just how terminally online it is and what an echo chamber it is that I take it less seriously now. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm past caring. Like, I care about the war in Iran because it affects my gas prices. But everybody complaining about it online or whatever everybody is bitching about on any given particular day, it can affect me. But I think that's mostly to do with like how long I spend staring at a screen. Like, it goes away almost instantaneously if I just have the ability to set the phone down and go do something else. But it's tied directly to the use, which means I could probably take more demoralization propaganda if I just got myself some blue blocker glasses, right? Like, it's more tied to the physiological response to it all.
Yeah.
But most of it
now
I won't
is totally like, discount
I'm kind of
that.
past caring.
Yeah. Well, I want to show a more positive example of AI food content. That this is the stuff that's coming up on my For You page. I'm not seeing the soap operas. I'm seeing foods arguing about which one has more nutritional value.
Amazing.
And this brings me great joy.
Hey, I'm chocolate drink. Shake me, I'm brown and yummy.
You are water and whey powder. You aren't even legally milk.
At least I didn't get squeezed out of a cow's hairy boob. That is nasty. Shut your mouth! Hi, I'm Blue Slooshy. I give you brain freeze, burr.
You are crushed ice and blue dye #1. You are not fruit.
You taste like wet dirt skins that pop in your mouth. Hi, I'm Cream Egg. I have yummy goo inside me.
You are cheap chocolate filled with corn syrup paste.
You smell like a fart when you get peeled.
I am protein. You are diabetes in foil.
Hi, I'm Orange Soda. I tickle your nose.
You are toxic neon poison mixed with corn syrup.
Drinking you feels like swallowing bugs.
I am vitamin C. You are liquid diabetes.
Hi, I'm Hot Dog.
I mean, there's like a high school science teacher somewhere that's making all of these.
Yes.
I slide right down the throat.
You are a tube of blended pig assholes and noses. You are repulsive.
You look like a burnt scab that is leaking blood. It's gross.
I am prime beef. You are pink slime. Ha!
Hi, I'm Tater Tote. I'm a crispy nugget.
You are potato scraps glued together with oil.
Eating you is like eating a hot rock. It takes forever.
I am wholesome. You are cafeteria trash. Ha!
Hi, I'm
You are cafeteria trash. Okay, there's another one. I swear we'll be done after this, but this one had me actually like in tears the first time I saw it.
Animal cracker. That cookie is a factory-made sugar bomb.
You taste like warm piss.
Rah! Fuck you, I am a simple snack. You are junk. I'm flaxseed cracker. That chip is deep-fried flour.
But I have a really loud crunch.
Shut up! You crunch because you are burned. You have no fiber I'm sunflower seeds. I am pure mineral fuel. That cube is just stale rock-hard bread.
But I had crunch.
Silence! You tear up the roof of the mouth. You are garbage bread. Get out of the salad.
Bro, I'm sorry, but I'm caping for the crouton. How dare you do that? The crouton did
Over time, the unhealthy snacks find clever like clapbacks to use, but in this one, they're just kind of like laying over and taking it.
I'm kind of like, I feel bad. Like, we're cooked. I feel bad for a crouton right now.
Spelled flour. That white flour is bleach chemical dust.
But I make the cakes fluffy.
Shut the fuck up. You are fluffy because you are empty. You are white death. I'm yogurt parfait. That cup is sugary snot.
But I am smooth and sweet.
Shut up. You are brown sludge. You look like shit. Get in the trash. I'm whipped cottage cheese with honey. I am protein. That slice is a brick of sugar.
But I'm
Silence. You are a heart attack. I am the fuel. I'm raw peanut. That cup is just wax and sugar.
You are dry and taste like dirt.
Shut up. I am pure protein. You are a cavity in a wrapper. Get in the trash. I'm iced green tea with chia seeds. That bubble tea is a diabetes starter pack.
But I'm
Silence. You are a calorie bomb with a straw. Put down the sugar milk, idiot.
They're also
They're also in this
abusive.
one, the healthy snacks are winning, and in the previous one, you can tell the junk food is finding a clever way to clap back at the healthy food. It's all very intriguing. I'm sure you guys will go find daily food care on Instagram after this and enjoy it with me.
Well, holy crap! All right, let's do some super chats then.
You're welcome, everyone. By the way. Burned Oil said, Sydney looks really good without makeup. That's something you should appreciate, Mary. As part of your woman's solidarity, be supportive of your own gender. That's gender spelled with a J, by the way. Well, I never claimed to support all women. I think that's ridiculous. Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, for Gongolia, F England. F England. Indeed. We only support the Gongo. Shane H. Wilder said, yeah, I got my wisdom teeth removed. That is why I is big dumb now.
Oh, I did put
I wanted an update on the poll. How many people responded so far?
63% say they have had them removed.
I'm still debating it. I'm not convinced that it's not a scam, you know?
Mm-hmm. We've got a $20 Rumble rant from West. Says, Mary, thoughts on the last Airbender movie that leaked a few days ago? I thought it was good, but not as good as the show.
Oh, the entire movie leaked?
Yeah, they got hacked and got leaked.
That's crazy. Well, I didn't see it, so I don't know, but I'm sure it was terrible. I can almost guarantee you that. Robert Delara said, what Sydney Sweeney did was obviously not good, but Sophie Rain preaching against the depiction of OF on Euphoria is a bitch please moment. Yeah. We need to bring that back, saying bitch please.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, is she diversifying her portfolio or her portfolio? But
got him. That
was a good one, Shane. Corey Anderson said Ariana Grande should only be in movies with Cynthia Erivo for the cringe. Yeah, it might be good for society if they just stick together and don't bother the rest of us. Corey Anderson said, Ariana Grande, if you ever wanted to know what sticks wrapped in skin looks like. Okay, that's another thing that I didn't really mention.
She looked
in
that
the segment.
skinny in it.
She, to be fair, like, I don't know what's really going on there, but she definitely looks to be clinically underweight, and it's kind of distracting. I don't think that she looks believably like a normal person. And I also wanted to say, it was, I think, Terry Polo, the actress that played the love interest to Ben Stiller in the original Meet the Parents. Her and, like, women like Meg Ryan, and, like, those icon actresses of, like, the original peak 90s and 2000s rom-coms. Those women, like, taught me how to be a white woman. Like, I watched Meet the Parents, and it reminded me of, like, harnessing my power as a white female. Ariana Grande is, like, ashamed of her own, like, white womanness, and she cannot accept her real identity. That's why she's switched races and personalities so many times. That's another reason why she makes no sense in this franchise, and it shouldn't even be a franchise. Just
like,
leave it alone.
There's like this new Luciano, I forget, I don't remember her channel name, but she's like this comedian, and she always does these videos where she's like, I'm like a real white. She's like, I'm like the best type of white woman. It's basically like I ride the line between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
I will always say gracias at the Mexican restaurant.
Exactly.
And I don't care what you say. Robert Delara said Cool Whip is a poor man's whipped cream. But how does that make sense? Whipped cream is pretty cheap. It has to be a different thing entirely.
It never interested me. I didn't eat cheesecake until I was in my 30s.
Honestly, I didn't let myself enjoy cheesecake throughout my whole childhood because of the fact that, like, the word cheese is in it.
Me too. I was like, why would I want to eat cheesecake?
I also had a bizarre, like, hatred for peanut butter for most of my childhood, which only changed when I was a teenager. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Not That Jon Stewart said the Navy took my wisdom teeth and Cool Whip is gross.
Yes, it is.
So they can force you to get them removed? That's crazy.
Don't want you have them impacting while you're out on a mission.
I don't know. The at my recent dental appointment, the hygienist was, like, really trying to freak me out about it and saying, like, it's just going to be so much worse if you wait, blah, blah, blah. And then the dentist comes in a few minutes later and basically says not to worry about it.
I mean, maybe she was, like, fresh out of school and is just, like, really into it.
She was in her like 40s. I don't know. It was just, like, funny how he, like, couldn't have cared less.
He's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm gonna make money off you either way. Coming or going.
Exactly. Pop Culture Junkie said the Cool Whip of humans. I almost fell off my chair laughing. I'm stealing that. Yeah, I was impressed with myself for that one.
They're, like, mad at me in the chat because I never ate cheesecake. I never ate cheesecake. I liked ice cream, I guess.
It is good.
Not a lot. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that cheesecake is underrated.
Unfortunately, I didn't start eating sweets until I got, like, I think my intake of sweets went up way more once I got sober, if I'm being completely honest, because of the sugar, I'm sure. Like, I never ate sweets growing up, really, all that much.
Valid.
I drank a lot of soda, but I guess that's more what it is. It's when I quit soda, I started eating more sweets. But now, even then, like, I try to limit it to just at work rather than at home. Like, because I used to eat candy when I'd get home. Now I have, like, some candy when I'm at work and leave it there. That's, like, my hack for it.
There are better sweet treats than candy, in my opinion. Like pastries, ice cream.
I'm looking for none of that, and I can't store any of that at work. The pastries go bad right away, and I don't want to have to make a ton of trips. And and what was the other one you mentioned?
Ice cream.
And I'm not putting it in a community fridge where it's going to get stolen. So.
Oh well.
But no, actually, you know what? No, I'm philosophically against doing something that different from my normal day at work. The idea of eating ice cream at work actually makes me angry. You should not do that unless you're having an ice cream party and your boss paid for it. You should not be eating ice cream at work.
I can't believe it's been that long since I've heard someone use the term ice cream party. Like that, don't you think that used to be a thing? You don't hear about ice cream parties these days. What's that about?
No, you know what it is it's anti-capitalist turned pizza party into a bad thing because they're like, they don't want to give you a raise. They're just gonna make you a wage slave and give you a pizza party every month.
Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle said, to paraphrase Obi-Wan Kenobi on Ariana, she's more machine than woman now, twisted and evil. Well, I was also like ranting about this off air. It's not just her appearance, but the affect and the personality that she has taken on to match it. Like she always is acting like this frail little, like, I don't know, like spaced out, like drugged out child almost. Like she appears to be easily frightened, and she's always like flinching and making these extremely over exaggerated comical facial expressions on red carpets and during interviews and during movies that just have no place. I mean, she's just like, she refuses to act like a grown woman. That I take issue with that. And the fake voice on top of it, the fake accent that's constantly changing. I cannot stand it. And she appears to have zero sense of self.
What's that meme? It says like Ariana Grande used to look like the Little Mermaid. Now she looks like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah. No Control said Slaves to the Slop is my new band name. Well, you're welcome for that. I hope I get some royalties.
We're getting very close to a third Crisis Party. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Teenage Wilder said Ariana is literally her Victorious character. As for the live-action Moana, it looks like someone clipped random photos from magazines and pasted them. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I do want to say, though, Ariana Grande's character on Victorious in the first season was very different from what it turned into later on, where they basically lobotomized her character or Flanderized her character. She became stupid and ditzy, and in the previous episodes, she definitely had more of an edge to her and the way that she dressed in the show. But I definitely see what you mean, that she like took after that character quite a lot in her career. Pop Culture Junkie said Michael Jackson biopic. Oh, I think that you read this one already about the reshoot.
We got a 20 here from E.G. Smitty. Says, love watching you both, Brett and Mary. You're on my screen every morning. I'm getting ready for work and catch up on other things I may have missed later in the day. Sweet.
Thank you for tuning in.
I love hearing because I have my own podcast that I listen on the way into work. It's a little bit different now because we me and Olivia commute together into work, so now we don't have to use two cars to get in.
That's nice.
So it's not the same thing as but when I would go in on my own. But I have my own podcast that I would listen to, or it's on the YouTubes, but I'm driving, so I can't watch it.
Yeah.
So I like knowing that we get to be that for other people. That's awesome.
Smoke Daddy 00 said, are you guys going to see the Michael Jackson movie? I doubt Mary will. LOL.
Honestly, Mary would be more likely.
I will.
Mary is way more likely to see it than I am. Biopics.
Yeah.
I'm against biopics in general. So.
Well, I mean, I guess you might mean I learned who Michael Jackson was the day that he died. He had zero relevance to me whatsoever in my life, but I am interested in a movie about a person, more than a movie about, I don't know, superheroes.
Believe it or not, Mary doesn't care to go see Street Fighter this year or Mortal Kombat 2, even though I think both of them are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's a go, go, go movie. You see what I mean? Like when they start screaming go, 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 I check out. That's not for me. That's
go,
fine.
go, go. See, and whereas I'm the opposite, where the easiest way to get me to want to see a movie is a cool helicopter shot of a military convoy. And I'm like,
someone saying go, go, go.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is cool.
Not that John Stewart said Godzilla -0 sequel to Godzilla -1 had a 10-second teaser that looks amazing if you like those movies. I do. I haven't seen that yet, but it makes sense that they would do a sequel after its huge return.
We have a tree on the way home from work that looks exactly like Godzilla, and we point it out every time when we're on the way home. It looks exactly like Godzilla.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Boston said $2 for the correct Karen Daria conservative classy lady. Thank you.
You know what my other favorite trope in a television show is, and it's a procedural staple, which is anytime some piece of evidence doesn't come out the way they want, they say, well, back to square one. Somebody walks in the room and goes, not exactly, and then delivers the line every single time. My goal in life is that I want to walk on like cameo in a movie where I get to be the person who comes in and says, not exactly, and then delivers a bunch of exposition about some piece of evidence that came in.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Robert Delera said, Mary, there has to be a sequel to the Michael Jackson movie. First movie is Black Michael. The sequel is White Michael. But does that imply that they're going to have to bleach the kid who plays him in the first movie or recast him with a white person?
Actually, what it does is...
Like, how do you do that without offending literally everybody?
Plus, the real problem with that is that one of them will end up with the higher box office and will actually know the answer to whether it doesn't matter if you're black or white. And then it kind of defeats the thesis. That's a problem.
Yikes. Shane H. Wilder said they had to do 15 million worth of 11th hour edits to remove things like Michael Jackson's medical and legal troubles. Yeah, it was supposedly some dispute with his estate, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Given, I'll go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Given my disdain for all things Bob Dylan, and seeing as how Bob Dylan is kind of claimed by Minnesota, I would love, and I probably would go see a Prince biopic.
That'd be cool.
I find Prince far more. I don't know, but if they made a modern one, I would be far more interested, because I've got a lot of friends that know everything about Prince. Like, I'm tangentially on the outside. If they put him on, I'll listen. I love all the songs that everybody knows about, but I'm not by any means some expert on the person. But I would go see a movie about Prince.
Says multiple Prince biopics and music films are currently in development, the most prominent being The Most Beautiful, a scripted drama based on the memoir by his first wife. They also mention a separate project is in the works with Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, who is developing a jukebox biopic that incorporates Prince's hits into the original storyline.
I mean, okay, so that's just
not
that's not a biopic, but yeah.
No. And then there's also another screenwriter adapting the memoir by his wife. So spanning from 96 to 2000.
Okay. I mean, that's like I'm
surprised it's taken this long.
I would watch it again, because I said I've got friends. They've read the books, they've read the unauthorized autobiographies, and they're very into all his work. But he was a cultural staple in Minnesota. So.
Corey Anderson said, Clavicle will die on stream. Mark my words.
I hope not.
Tonal issues once again. Thank you, guys.
You have to dance a little slower.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not one of those ones where it resets and starts again.
We actually got some comments on our previous video about Clavicular with people saying that like they hope that he dies young.
That's awful.
And they're like making light of that, and we didn't intend to do that at all with the thumbnail we chose. People like took that and like either thought that we were speaking it into existence or thought that they wanted to like celebrate the fact that he is putting his life in danger.
A lot of people don't understand the art of the thumbnail, and that it's there to draw you in so that you can have a more nuanced discussion about it. Like nobody who actually watched that video could take that away from it. That's insane.
Shane H. Wilder said, I agree with Mary on him not having any silence. I just saw a new study that an hour or two of silence a day can actually help regenerate brain cells. I bet that's true. I cannot imagine living in a house like that with the, I mean, the way it is designed, like most modern homes, is there's zero separation between any of the rooms. It's like this open concept, Miami, like McMansion. It's just a nightmare in there, and everything echoes. You can't like place a cup on a table without echoing through the entire house. And he's just listening to people mindlessly blasting rap music all day and playing Mario Kart in the background.
They're building it, and they're like, well, the railings on the stairs, what if they were glass?
Yeah. There's no thought to like how people would actually live in the house. It's just meant to be a photo background, basically.
We've got a couple of Rumble rants here from Broody Gambit. It says, I'm sure my dentist was getting kickbacks from the oral surgeon. My wisdom teeth came in and my dentist said they were fine. I moved and my very first visit to the new dentist was told to get them taken out. It's a scam. And then Broody Gambit also says,
opinion.
My sister had her wisdom teeth taken out at Thanksgiving. I asked her for Christmas gift ideas. Then she was completely surprised that I knew exactly what she wanted on Christmas morning.
You know what? I'm only going to believe the second opinion that tells me to spend less money.
Exactly.
Actually.
Broody Gambit.
Science.
Broody Gambit also says, I'm on my way home from work. What should I pick up for dinner? Since I painted Killer Croc last time, I will probably paint Slash tomorrow. Well, as for dinner, I don't know where you live, so I can't really know for like location-specific stuff.
Grocery store sushi every time.
Gas station sushi every time.
I love grocery store sushi.
That's true. You would get it before going to the movies with the loud container that it was always in.
No, I would always go to H Mart before we went to the.
I mean, that's a grocery store, basically.
Yeah, but that's different. That's like better sushi than the like Food Lion grocery store sushi. But I would also get like pastries. I would get appetizers. I would get a little snack for later. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
And I fully plan on doing that again.
I love
now that I live close to a movie theater.
I love the one where it says like when the theater security guard walks by and he's got like he's got like a hazmat suit on and he's eating a whole rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. No, I got shit about it one time, but it's because I was being insultingly blatant about walking in with food.
Yep.
Like I literally didn't even try to hide it. So the manager was like, "Hey, you can't bring that in." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to the car and put it in my car." And then I just like walked outside and stuffed it all in my backpack and came back in.
I remember that.
Because I don't care about the rules.
Poor managers, like, look, I know everyone does it, but could you at least follow the social decorum of not rubbing it in our faces?
We supported that movie theater more than most people. I don't feel any guilt about it. Okay.
I do love going. So the last time we were there, we had to leave early because Olivia wasn't feeling well, and the security guard came to let me know. And I thought he was there because I had my like drink from outside the.
That would be ridiculous if that were the case. Corey Anderson said, "None of these people are Divergent. I know. I read the books." I actually didn't read Divergent. Only Hunger Games. That age. Corey Anderson said, "Brett, Mary, are you looking to hire any yes men? I retire in 2030. That would be nice if we could just boss someone around all day.
I would love that. I would love to have somebody here to do like the work, so I don't have to do it.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Blueface, is that what Tobias Funke from Arrested Development goes by now? Does Clav hang out with a never nude? There are dozens of them. Dozens!" You will know this reference.
Blueface is a rapper, right?
Yeah, but it's just this bit where the character tried to like join the Blue Man group or something. Boss N said, "I must dip out early, sadly. First time on a Mary episode. Fare thee well, Brett and Lady Mary. Later, friends in chat. Have a good weekend, y'all. Mary's hot."
Have a good one.
That was just a little
Threw that
spice
in there at the end.
Corey Anderson said, "Shane, as the PCC historian, you know Mary is a self-proclaimed never nude." Yep, it's true. I shower in my Daisy Dukes. That's my thing. There are dozens of us. Shade H Wilder said, I've seen the AI fruit videos and even worse, cheating cutlery that ended with a knife pew-pewing a fork and spoon. Fork that. I hate it. I have not seen the cutlery edition of this genre, but
there's so much you could do with that. Like you could have like pizza cutters as like something that would be amazing.
Corey Anderson said, ladies, it is okay to fart in front of men. We don't care. It is funny. I swear, this is like the 12th time that you have super chatted about this specific subject. Corey, I don't know what your obsession is, but it's a problem. Pop Culture Junkie said the AI vegetable/fruit stories appear to be highly influenced by a 2016 talking food and groceries film called Sausage Party, a quite funny / strange movie. I do remember that movie. I never watched it, but it's definitely not the same genre as far as I know.
Because of all of this, that reminded me that since me and Olivia want to review bad movies, one of the movies that we put on there is Zootopia, since I would have no other reason to watch Zootopia other than perhaps because it's on like a bad movies list.
I think you absolutely should.
Yeah. It's like, plus all those...
You should actually watch all of like the specifically Jewish comedy movies. Watch that one that they put on Netflix for, I think it's Adam Sandler's daughter. It was like, You're Totally Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah or something. It had a ridiculous title like that.
That sounds awesome. If I'm being completely honest, that sounds awesome. Like, if they want to pay me $7,000 to watch those movies, I'll do that.
Corey Anderson said, Jesus is my homeboy. All right.
That's reminiscent of a simpler time in life, when that was like the best Christian marketing push you could possibly have at the time, was the WWJD bracelets and the Jesus is my homeboy bumper stickers.
Now we have Christ is King. Take your pick.
Unfortunately, one is just a little bit more serious and dog whistly than the others, so...
I prefer the latter, to be clear. Shane H. Wilder said, put the phone down, go pray, read, take a walk. I mean, literally anything at this point. It would be better. But I'm just trying to say that people act... I mean, they have like kind of a victim mentality about their phones. And like, they just don't take any responsibility for the quality of time that they spend on their phones instead of the quantity.
They act like it happens to them rather than something that they choose to engage in.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said Brett came up with the name Crouton.
I did.
Oh.
That's lore between me and Olivia, where we do plan to have a dog one day. We do want to have a dog.
Oh, yes.
We want to get a puppy, and I said that we should name it Crouton. Yes. She thinks that she came up with the name. We disagree. I think it's a cute name. I like that name. But I don't want to get in the middle of anything. Crouton is a great name for because it was going to be what do you call it? Not a Shiba. Corgi. Thank you.
Corgi.
Corgi. Yeah, like it's a great name for a corgi.
They're little. And I'll just say Sunflower Seed AI dude was right. Those things tear up the roof of my mouth. I hate that feeling. Yeah. Cool Video 101 said, I had my wisdom teeth removed when I was 18. I was allowed to keep 3 of them in a bag. I still have the bag somewhere. I feel like they wouldn't let you do that now for some reason. Like there's just an arbitrary rule where somebody did some crazy shit with their wisdom teeth and now nobody gets to have fun.
That was also a story they did in an episode of White Collar where Mozzie fakes his own death by he's got all his teeth in a bag and he scatters them at like in this place and then lights it on fire. And Neil goes, why do you have your teeth in a bit? Never mind, I don't want to know.
Not that John Stewart said, for your teeth, if they're not causing you pain and they're coming in straight, keep them. Mine were coming in crooked, so Uncle Sam took them.
They take half your money, they take your wisdom teeth, and that's just the federal government. And then you've got Mamdani over here. He's stealing from your apartment.
Yeah. It's a crock of shit.
And Elon is out here trying to do universal welfare. Everybody is a communist now.
Like, I have to have roommates, so I can't like bring girls into my apartment to hook up with me because it's super awkward. And like now I'm an incel, so like fuck you.
What if like my property value goes up because I live right next to the government-run grocery store?
This is bullshit. My wisdom teeth are not causing me any pain, which is why I was confused that they were like kind of pushing me in that direction.
Yeah, because it makes them.
I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna keep living my life.
I mean, I've long believed that that's the best way to solve any problem is to just ignore it.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Look, I have good jokes and bad jokes. It's a surprise which you will get. You usually do well, Shane." Corey Anderson said, "The Navy have my wisdom teeth as well. I wonder what they're doing with them."
They probably put it into explosives as some form of shrapnel for the enemy.
That's weird. Pop Culture Junkie said, "I had a girlfriend who didn't eat yogurt because she did not want to eat anything that had the word gurt in it. WTF?"
That can't be real. That's like that seems actually, you know what? That's more believable than the manufactured hysteria of the word moist suddenly being gross to everyone. That was pure psychological. That was pure psyop. Okay,
that
nobody
was like
actually.
When people would be like random and they'd be like tacos.
Like nobody was actually like, oh my god, the word moist is so gross. No,
taco
that
narwhal.
was Reddit told you that the word moist was bad.
Lay taco narwhal mustache. Leel, so random, holds up spork.
Rafflecopter.
Gert is not a word unless you're talking to hoodlums in Canada. Shane H. Wilder said, "Dude, now I want an ice cream party and a pizza party, maybe some Otter Pops. Yeah, that's the stuff." It's been a minute since I've been to an ice cream party. We really got to bring that back. We have like a make your own Sunday station. Yeah. Hell yeah.
We are regular. Well, I mean, in the summer, we're regular purveyors of like the Sweet Frog around here.
An ice cream enjoyer.
But that's not ice cream. It's yogurt. Right?
It's the same shit.
But we go there, and then we go to the Red Barn, which is like another ice cream place, and that one does. I do get, you know, like yogurt or actual ice cream there.
But how is froyo not ice cream? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, it depends. Like, I also am like really stingy with the toppings because I don't want it to cost a fortune. But at the same time, you know.
Well, I get that one of them is yogurt and one of them is cream. Okay. They're both frozen, but they taste the freaking same.
They taste the same.
Corey Anderson said, "We have ice cream socials in the Navy well underway. The captain makes the junior officers serve the enlisted. Yeah, morale.
Yay, morale."
That
who sent that one?
Great.
Corey
Anderson.
Corey, I don't know how terminally online you are, but did you see the post today on X that I saw Aiden Mattis repost about like military about what members of the military were being served, and the point was to be like it was like a demoralization campaign to be like, look how you're like these people that hate America are like, look what they're feeding your brave soldiers, which really is just like they want you to die because they're anti-American. And I saw people talking about it today.
I don't know how to pronounce this username, but I'll just try my best. Shador said, "Oh, I think that you read this one earlier, but maybe the screen name comes across differently to you on the YouTube end."
What does it say?
That. No, it was the 20 that you read earlier.
Okay.
Tophone Man said, "Mary looks angelic today. Thank you. I decided not to wear black. Maybe that's why."
Yep.
Corey Anderson said, "And they can name it Michael Jackson, black or white, he. Also, Michael was innocent of all allegations."
Honestly, if they made a Michael Jackson comedy version that was called Tee Hee Hee, I would go see that one.
I like that he had a weird laugh. Like, I feel better about my laugh because of him.
I still remember that was like the one thing I remember from high school is a teacher telling me you should never make fun of someone's laugh. It's the most natural thing they have. Because you can't fake it.
That's so true. MSMD 74 said, "There was time when race would not have mattered much. I hope that Gen Z can know this. The race hustlers always existed, but rarely stopped us from being American as far as pop culture is concerned." I mean, I wasn't alive during those times. I think you're talking about the 90s. So I wouldn't know what that was like, but at the same time, you know, you can look back on it and maybe that's a Rorschach test too, but you see the reaction to Rodney King is not all that dissimilar from the Summer of Love in 2020. So how different really is like how different are race relations other than that now it's projected on social media? Like, what is the real difference, you know? I'm sure social media doesn't help, but it's like, I don't know what that was like to live in those times. Penamite said, I answered no on the poll, but it felt like famous last words.
Like it's gonna happen now just because you said no.
I think you should just, if it doesn't cause you pain, you should just kind of like ignore it.
I fall into that
always worked
same
for me.
type of of magical thinking happens to me all the time.
But it's not magical thinking. Like I was in a state last year for like most of the year where I was breaking out in hives every day. And my plan legitimately was like, I'm just going to ignore this and just see if it goes away. And it did. It did eventually go away. I have no idea why, but it did. And then I ended up having like eczema, also ignored it, and it went away. Like,
the power of neutral thinking.
Strategy this entire time. And I think I'm going to stick with it. Shane H. Wilder said, my local grocery store does Sushi Wednesdays and puts their sushi on sale. I think it's always Wednesdays.
Yeah, they do that
all
out
these
here.
Grocery stores,
They do that
but like
out
I don't
here,
know
too.
why.
Yep.
Probably because they ship it in like on Thursdays or something. Greg Duvier said, I like the left lane and turtles are for crime.
Turtles.
Putting a spin on it. Corey Anderson said, the fruit story mentioned kicking the lady out for farting in front of a man. I don't have a fart fetish. Methinks the Corey doth protest too much. Cleggy said, my crew's getting big and it keeps getting bigger. That's why Jesus Christ is my homeboy. Thank you for clarifying that. Shane H. Wilder said, the bigger scam is tonsil removal. Well, if you get tonsillitis, like you have to, right? I don't know. I never did, but it's a thing. High Voltage 75 said, opinions on root beer floats. Do you have an opinion on root beer floats?
Not my.
You seem like a guy who would like a root beer float.
I would. I would ask why it needs to be root beer.
Root beer, he says.
Root beer.
Incredible.
Whatever. I would ask why. And if it was, do I get to choose between A&W and Barks? Because Barks is clearly the superior of the two.
I'm not a soda drinker at all, but I always thought root beer was especially gross compared to all the rest of them. Not interested.
I would have one, but I would do that, say, before like a banana split, which just sounds disgusting to me.
I like a banana split, actually. Those are kind of nice. And I can never turn down affogato. I think that's the best.
I don't even know what that is.
It's espresso with vanilla gelato.
Oh, it sounds like something you get at a restaurant after having dinner.
So good. Shane H. Wilder said, my high school had a froyo machine, $1 a froyo. That's incredible.
Prices were different back then.
I would love that. Corey Anderson said, yes, I did. It looked like midrats, which is food left over during earlier meals served at midnight. It is totally normal. Could be right before an RAS. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so the point is that stuff, like, it feels like demoralization propaganda to me, where like people who already hate America like are telling you, an American, to be upset about this as if they care. They do not care.
Pop Culture Junkie said, I told her GERT was not a word. It didn't do any good. She had a master's degree in journalism from Georgia. WTF.
She's like, you don't tell me what the word is.
GERT is what ended your relationship. Like, it was like, that was the moment you knew, like, this woman doesn't eat yogurt. Like, I can't do this anymore. Penamite said, my dentist did try to talk me into getting all 4 wisdom teeth pulled. I asked him, can't you just fill the cavities? He harumphed a lot and said, fine. Yeah, you gotta learn how to deal with doctors and dentists harumphing at you.
The problem with that is it's really insulting, because the point is, like, he's not, if he's harumphing rather than insisting it's about money, not about your health, which means it's like, bro, what are you harumphing for? There's like going to be 60 other patients today that are not going to ask a single question. Like, you cannot harumph once.
Your kids are going to still be in private school tomorrow.
Like, is the idea here that you have to harumph, otherwise it might spread the dangerous trend of people asking simple questions? Like Jesse Ventura?
Shane H. Wilder said, I had tonsillitis as a kid. The doc was essentially like, rub some dirt on it, so I never had them removed. Wow. I thought that was like, there's no other solution but removing them, but apparently you can just...
What did we do what did man do before that was possible?
When in doubt, ignore it.
Exactly.
That's, I think, the moral of the story today.
I mean, I had to, when my voice went the other, like a couple weeks ago, literally we put it off till the very last minute, where it's just, I literally could not sleep because I was coughing the entire night. Like, you can't sleep if you're coughing. And so I would sleep about 45 minutes to an hour a night. And then the meds that they gave me didn't even work. Not really. Like, they didn't actually help. Eventually it just got better on its own.
Are you feeling back 100%? Or
voice-wise, yeah. Like, I sound fine.
You sound normal again.
Yeah, unfortunately, but but I still get, like I said, I still cough at night a little bit, and if I like last night, it was a little bit worse because I was like yelling during the show yesterday. So
it happens.
Yep.
Not that Jon Stewart said Raz replenishment at sea.
Ah.
You learn something
We're
new
getting
every
close
day.
to a fourth crisis party here. Maybe we'll get that before we get to the outro.
Katie said, in the movie Wicked, I don't think Grande was acting at all. I think her hair flicking for the guy reeks of desperation. Yeah, I think that she blurred the lines too much between her real self and her character when she was doing Wicked. And it's done an irreparable toll on her psyche.
I think it's all performance art.
Yeah, like, I mean, it might be that she's just not conscious of it, but yes, it is kind of performance art.
In the chat, somebody put codeine in cigarettes. Well, no, the whole point was that when I went to the doctor, I said, I don't know if you guys still give it out, but I cannot accept promethazine because I'm in recovery. So I wouldn't have been able to take it even if they had offered it because it would be bad. And yeah, I took these stupid pills and they didn't do anything. My throat was just wrecked for almost, I was out for almost 2 weeks. Rough.
Manic Mustache said A&W root beer, vanilla ice cream, and a frozen mug. The frozen mug is the best part.
I still say that Barks is the preferred brand, but that's just me. That's just me.
I think, do we have any more that I'm not seeing?
I believe that we are all caught up. We have one more Rumble rant here from Broody Gambit. It says, funny story, I ate at Red Robin and got a Red Robin float. At least that's what I'm assuming RB float is, unless you mean, I guess root beer float. They could call it the RR
Red
throat.
Robin.
Yeah. The root beer float. They asked if I wanted a refill, and I thought they meant of the soda. They meant they brought me a full float for free. I got 4 floats that meal. That's
insane.
You should do that.
It sounds like a pretty good deal, though.
Yeah.
All right.
One more here from Shane H. Wilder says, I actually had my wisdom teeth removed for free with insurance. I also did not get put under. I had them yanked while awake like a man.
Ugh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. But I also get it. Like, I wouldn't want to be put to sleep either. I haven't had a surgery before or anything, so that would freak me out.
Burned Oil says, Brett needs to stop being sick always like he's a woman.
What? You guys are gonna give Brett issues. Yep. This is why he refuses to go home when he's sick.
Yep.
You're gonna bully him.
Cause that was like, that literally happened when Mary got sick. Cause I was like, I came into work, I'm like, I'm fine. And then
I was like, really? I don't think you're fine, though.
Actually, last night we watched. It's so funny because I always make the joke. I say, like, I will never admit when I'm sick because of the trope of men, pretending like the cold is the worst thing that ever happened to them. But there was an episode of White Collar that we watched last night where Peter gets the flu and he keeps going to work and he won't admit that he's sick, and finally he's like throwing up in the other office while they're having a meeting. And he refuses to admit it because that's what you should do. You should not admit when you're sick. All
Pop
right.
Culture Junkie said this Gert woman dressed me up as a gambling casino for a costume party. I had a roulette wheel on my head. I was in a big dice box with a slot machine arm. I felt remarkably stupid.
Why does this feel like we're being led down the garden path somehow?
Like most stories from Pop Culture Junkie, I'm like, it's unbelievable, but knowing the rest of the stuff that you said before, it almost sounds true.
Could be due. All right. Before we go, guys, would you all hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the episode out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the show with, the more times that you comment on the channel, the faster the channel grows. So thank you guys so much for that. All right, we are dangerous. I think we might actually hit the fourth crisis party. Yes, it might. I don't know if it hasn't caught up yet. But either way, where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram, that is Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, and to help me get TikTok famous, that is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Remember that PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is a great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. One more reminder that tomorrow there's a special episode of PCC talking about Marvel, talking about behind the scenes at in the film industry, what's going on with the Avengers Doomsday Budget. If you are not a channel member, you will be able to watch that live. But if you are a channel member, remember that when I put that stuff out, you'll always get it several days early, which is always the best way to see anything. And we got one more super chat. Did it come through for you over there?
I don't see it yet.
From Shane H. Wilder, he says, "Have a good weekend. Much love. No homo." There you go. I thought we were going to get the fourth crisis party, but it looks like if it is, it's not.
But it's just not updating. I feel like we did, though.
All right. Well, if we learn after the fact that we actually did get the fourth crisis party, but we go to the outro, perhaps I will trigger that crisis party on Monday for everybody, which is a great way to invite you guys back here on Monday. We will see y'all then. Later, everybody.